guys, welcome back to Tip Tuesday. My name is Matthew Sturkey with Stone Mill Log and Timber Homes. Thanks for joining us. Last week we talked about tips for value engineering. This week we're going to talk about tips for evaluating square footage of your building project. We're going to talk about the differences between conditioned square footage and covered square footage. And you're probably wondering what I mean by covered square footage. When we talk about covered square footage in terms of your building project, we're talking about all of the covered spaces, including garages, lower level, breezeway space, covered porches. Those areas are so important to factor into your building budget because there is a cost associated with the foundation work, the finish work, the structural work that goes into covered porches. A lot of times prospective clients overlook how much cost is associated with covered porches. Now, we love our covered porches, we want it, it fits with our log or timber frame home, but there is a cost associated with that, and it has to be evaluated when looking at your total square footage. Your conditioned space is just that part of your square footage of your building project that is heated and cooled. The part that you're going to heat and cool. So if you see typically a floor plan and it's 2,000 square feet, that square footage is for conditioned, heated and cooled square footage. If you have a lower level unfinished basement, that is not factored in there. If you have a garage, that is not figured in there. If you have 1,000 square feet of covered porches, that is not figured in there. So that has to be accounted for in your building budget. So when you're looking at your total cost associated with the project, make sure you look at it and evaluate it in terms of covered square footage as well. That's not to say don't look at it in terms of conditioned space, but also look at it in terms of covered space as well, because you're going to typically see that cost per square foot in covered square footage drop fairly significantly, because it's going to take into account the cost of those spaces and the cost of building that covered porch or building that garage, and that square footage is not going to go into that, what we call that conditioned space. So really, when it comes to evaluating those, make sure you look at it both ways. You'll typically see a better return on investment in covered square footage. It also will help you to evaluate some areas where you can cut some cost. So if you're looking at it in just conditioned space versus covered space, then you can look at maybe cutting out some of your porches, or maybe cut out that bonus area above the garage, or cut out that garage and build it at a later date. So just a couple of things that I wanted to point out today that a lot of times people are not aware of. Wanted to point out some of the differences between evaluating conditioned space and covered space, and how that plays into your total budget goals. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully I haven't confused you along the way. If you have any other questions about evaluating square footages and the differences between covered square footage and conditioned square footage, please, as always, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we're happy to answer those questions and help you along the way. Look forward to you joining us next week for more Tip Tuesday. Until then, stay safe and healthy as always, and take care.